And we're going to get into the topics. And the first one that is on the docket is the talk of the town this week. And that is Assassin's Creed creator. Wow. Why does it not work? It works for me. Hold on.
Good job.
Hold on.
Why is the screen black?
For whatever reason,
Crack.
For whatever reason, it happens on Hypnotic. It doesn't happen to me. So I've seen that happen to him when he tries to load up screens, and I'm like, that never happens to me.
A likely story.
I'm serious. Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Blame it on whatever.
Assassin's Creed creator Ubisoft. This is from Reuters, or people say routers. I don't know. Sets up €4 billion subsidiary backed by Tencent. And this story, I'm very interested to hear what you guys all have to say about it, because when I first heard this, one, it was rumored for a while, but two, this is, if it is what I think it is, the shittiest thing a company can do to its employees, basically putting the debt on them and letting them all just completely lose all their jobs, and Ubisoft is bankrupt and done for. And this is a life raft for their major IPs that Ubisoft will still have some control and power and income from, and leaving the old Ubisoft behind. And I saw Endymion called this Tubisoft because it's like the sequel. And I'm like, that might actually catch on because
Ubisoft is crazy.
Right? So let's go through what you guys have to say about this, because I think this is wild. We'll start with Cassie.
Well, we know that Tencent has been trying to buy up Ubisoft for a while now, and I guess this was a means of allowing them to do it, like a beginning, or like at least something that they can both agree on. Because Ubisoft they're pretty much backed into a corner, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. There was a time where Ubisoft did actually talk about sales. For example, I did do a little bit of research, rare, but I did. In 2016, Ubisoft tweeted the division sets new Ubisoft launch day sales records, and linked to their actual Ubisoft blogs that they had back in the day. There's a reason why they aren't talking about sales. There's a reason why they're being vague with things. It is because they're just trying to protect what they have left as they make the moves they need in order to basically the suits and ties to walk away clean. That's all that shit is, bro.
100%.
I mean, I'm not very knowledgeable on, stocks and, business side of shit. I'm not. But we're not stupid either. We know that obviously, the big wigs are making a break for it.
Well, the other variable to this situation that's different than, because like I studied business in college, but this is like international business law that goes way beyond anything that I know. I have no idea how Canadian business law operates. I have no idea how Chinese business law operates and conglomerates creating.
Chinese business law is communism. It is, hey, that money you made, it's mine now.
That's ours now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But them joining forces to create a subsidiary and leaving the debt burdened to the original outlet, and how that functions. Like if that were to happen self-contained in the United States, I think there would be some serious legality issues and problems. But because of the scale of it and who's involved with it, I don't know if there's any action that can even be taken on this, which is wild because it's such a big deal in the grand scheme. Ryan, on to you. What do you think about it?
Well, I think personally Ubisoft has sold its soul to the devil, in this case Tencent, in order to survive. And
wait, hold up. The devil is selling its soul to the devil?
No. Some soulless motherfucker. He is now in Ubisoft.
How can you sell something you don't have? If you're soulless, how can you sell your soul?
Well, they do have a lot of assets, and Tencent are trying their best to gobble up those assets. Thanks to this new subsidiary, their control has increased, and a simple business transaction. You guys can stay alive. All of your fat will be cut away because we show no mercy as a Chinese company. You'll be allowed to live. We'll have more control over you. It's a simple from a financial standpoint, maybe less so in a creative standpoint for now, but it's very simple. Ubisoft sold their soul to Tencent in order to survive, and a good chunk of their workforce is going to be thrown under the bus, at least a few thousand over the next year or two, in my view.
Could you imagine if you invested in them, or like not as an individual, because most people, it would be a minor portion of their funding, but if you were like a big bank or an investment firm investing in Ubisoft and see this happen, I would be so pissed. I'd be like, you can't do this. Like this, I invested in this company and you're literally like selling me out for nothing and then moving on to this other area that I have no power in. I'm not getting anything from that.
I'm gonna be real. These people probably knew this was coming. Smash like when it comes to like insider trading and whatnot. Because I had an actual lawyer on my stream last night. I mean, a female lawyer, but a lawyer nonetheless. And
wow, I love how you qualified that. Holy shit. So I mean, just technically saying, still a lawyer, but it was a girl.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So she's handled legality when it comes to mergers and subsidiaries and things like that. And her and I came to the same conclusion that the individuals that are saying this is because of Assassin's Creed are that's off base. This is pre Star Wars Outlaws. This sort of thing takes a year or two to prep and manage. And so this has been. I mean, there's a reason it's been rumored for so long. It's because it's been happening even longer before that. This is so all the folks that like are claim, oh, I'm blindsided by my investment. No. We know how insider trading works. Y'all knew about this. That's probably why you were investing. This is just finally being made public. But this has been at least a year, if not two, in the works.
Yep. I mean, their options were limited because they were in so much debt. They could have either completely sold off their IPs to pay their debt down and have nothing left, or do what they did and have a chance for survival for the bigwigs. Which we'll get into after I get all the opinions, but this goes to the greater concern of the nearly 20,000 employees there. There is going to be a reckoning that hits Ubisoft, and I've heard rumored upwards of 10,000 or more employees being let go. But
it would be surprising.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to hear ABF. What do you think about this whole situation financially?
Well, yeah. So the investment side does interest me the most, and I keep wondering how they're able to get away with that because it is a publicly traded company. So if there are small investors here and there, all of a sudden they weren't on the board of directors, and they may or may not have gotten to vote on the decision to spin off this other subsidiary, but their company that they had stock in is probably worthless now that those high-end IPs are moving over. So I imagine this is going to turn into a class action lawsuit.
100%. I think that's already been rumored, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Like, I think there's a very high likelihood that not just the employees getting together and suing the company, but investors getting like there's going to be lawsuits on every front for what's happening right now.
Yeah, and they probably anticipated that move happening, and there's probably some sort of fail-safe for that. So I'm thinking every investor that invested in Ubisoft is actually screwed.
Yep.
Smash, do you have those messages from the Ubisoft employees?
Yes, I do actually.
About potential like law. I mean, you don't have to bring it up now, but like bring it up.
Yep. Look at me. Look, I'm ready. Look at me. See,
I'm just asking.
I'm like ready to go. Like,
I actually prefer Smash's, structure and
because he lets you talk. Yeah, shut up, Brian. It's fine.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
You're welcome, Smash.
Also, shout out
this
to
dysfunctional.
all the pre-stream legends. I was away. I'm still gonna be away, but
I don't know if you saw
Mr. Rouge. Did you give him a city, sweetie?
I didn't because it's SNH.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
A very attractive woman.
Whoa.
That man dropped a $500 banger. Give him a fucking city, Sweeney.
I mean,
matter of fact, I think you should give him two.
She's single.
All right, relax yourself. I know you see you got one hand under the desk. Look at you.
I hand check everyone. Hand check. There we go.
Anyway, keep going. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Well, just to be fair, just real quick before we move on, I strongly considered playing it, but I was like, I'm gonna get bitched out for playing a video on SNH because Hypno always says we don't play videos on SNH. So
we don't unless it's a mega banger.
Okay, good to know. Noted.
There you go.
Noted.
Okay, thanks.
Sheep City, and on to you. What do you think about this situation?
Okay, I'm unmuted. I kind of expected this to happen. I just didn't expect it to happen immediately after Assassin's Creed flopped. I was expecting it to happen like later on, like probably mid summer time, like August-ish, that they'd announce some kind of shit like this happening. Overall, I'm not surprised. Ubisoft has not really been, they haven't been putting out their best work ever since like the PS4. Let's be real. So that's pretty much my whole.
I mean, it's impossible to do your best work on PS5. PS5 would have to have games for that.
Exactly.
You stole my joke, you
Dude,
fuck.
Honestly, though, real quick,
Yeah.
sorry, Kata, not to step on your toes, Kata.
Look at my puns. I'm
But this-
Smash 18. I get puns.
This is completely off topic, but this might be the worst generation of consoles in the history of gaming.
Might be. No,
for
it is.
sure.
You think?
Oh, for sure.
I don't
It
even know if
is.
that's even an argument, but yeah, it's
No,
terrible.
not.
It's absolutely terrible.
Like,
People are migrating to Steam and PC in droves right now because it's like,
it's
why
one thing. It's like you had the era of the Wii, which is nothing but shovelware and Wii Sports, and then you had the Wii U after that, which is a complete and total fuck up on Nintendo's behalf. You had the Dreamcast that was like the final good console of Sega before that completely went under, and then you have this era where Microsoft and Sony can't get their shit together fast enough for people to stop buying PCs and stick to consoles. It's kind of insane.
Right.
Yeah. That hold on. We all gonna just accept that shit talk of the Wii, the second highest selling console of all time, with some of the most like banging games. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot
Yes,
of
we
shovelware.
are.
You're correct. You're correct. There's a lot of shovelware, but there were some straight fucking bangers on the Wii, dude.
Shovelware. And
I wanted to engage with nunchucks. I would do it the smart way and watch a Bruce Lee movie. Fuck out of here, bro.
Y'all straight drinking that haterade. Wii was awesome. It's the second highest selling console of all time. It probably had some fucking.
all right.
Hold on. Look, Hypno's gonna be like, I told you guys to stay on topic. God damn it.
That's fine. But listen, money doesn't equate quality. Just because it's sold high doesn't mean that is the best.
It clearly had. I didn't say it was the best. First of all, I think the Dreamcast is the best. But no, I mean all the Zelda titles and the Mario titles, Resident Evil titles, Manhunt, Obscure. Like there's so many good things on the Wii.
Be that as it may, me and the people that I hung out with, we played PlayStation 3 the most. So just saying, there's a lot of bangers on each console, but one held our attention way longer.
All I know is
the best. Let's
the
just keep
Wii.
going.
The Wii is probably the greatest console you can buy. If
Wrong.
Can you let me finish?
No.
Pause.
Stick to topics.
It's probably
Yeah, I don't
No.
know why you're talking
I
about
knew
the
he was.
Wii.
I knew he was about to come
It's
in.
probably the greatest console you can buy because it's so easily moddable and it can play pretty much every retro game on it if you mod it. But
True.
that's completely different. I mean, yeah, you can get a Raspberry Pi and do that too, I'm sure. But anyways, back on topic. Kata, what do you think about Ubisoft?
I think that it's really scummy what they're doing right now, because anybody with a working brain can see that you're obviously going to have to fire a lot of people doing this. You're going to have to get rid of a lot of those individuals that you want to pretend are valuable to your company when they're not. And the fact that the new company is already like, what is it? Is it more like profitable? Not profitable, but is valued more than Ubisoft is already. Should just let you know what's about to happen to Ubisoft in like the next few years. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if like in the next few weeks you start seeing, oh, we're making adjustments. We're gonna start retuning the way that we're gonna be looking at things, and then start letting people go. Like I think it's really scummy, but also it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all.
Did you see the email that
I did.
Yves Guillemot sent out?
I did. That email said basically, hey, yeah, corporate speak for, a lot of you guys are fucked, pretty much. That's what it said.
Yeah, and
you're valuable. We're going to be doing some readjustments. You're getting fired. I mean, that's how it is. A lot of people are about to
Get
lose.
used to not owning a job.
Right. Well, we'll get to that in a second too, because that has to do with the employees. So before we do, Leon, what are your thoughts on this situation?
To be fair, I think I kind of gave mine earlier, man, when I so politely interrupted when ABM was giving his. So, but yeah, I mean, it just boils down to I I think the people are, I mean, looking at this like it's some big win or a big shakeup or anything. I was like, yeah, it's just another thing happening in the gaming industry. You know, we can combine with what we've seen with the buyout of Blizzard and all these other companies. I mean, we're seeing the gaming industry and all these what used to be massive corporations fall to these purchases by these large conglomerations. Bethesda, things like that. It's just another day in the office. I do hope a bunch of motherfuckers lose their jobs, though. I do, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
I mean, here's the thing. I would argue, and that's a good segue to the employee situation. I think a large portion of the employee base of Ubisoft, if they had any level of intelligence at all, which is kind of asking a lot, knows that they were on borrowed time for months, if not years, leading up to.
Yeah, they were updating their resumes with the one game they worked on.
Right. Or leaving and creating consultancy groups. So we have this email from Yves Guillemot that he sent out to the entire company. It got leaked by, I believe it was Insider Gaming. Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming. And it said, "Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to share an important announcement that will mark a milestone in Ubisoft's history." And it goes on to talk, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it goes on to talk about the strategic options of Ubisoft's future and their $1.16 billion investment from Tencent investing in this subsidiary and trying to paint the picture of rainbows and butterflies and how amazing this is and what a great opportunity it is. And this email set Ubisoft ablaze with employees' backlash, so much so that there was an immediate response follow-up from this other person at the company. I can't remember their name. What was it? It's someone up high at the company that said, "Hello, everyone. I wanted to follow up immediately with all of you at Montreal, Quebec, and everywhere else. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that the agreement we announced is a powerful enabler and an exciting opportunity for Ubisoft." Notice how they're like, this strikes me as such the communistic regime. It's for the greater good, for the company. You sacrifice your career for the greater good of Ubisoft. Like, that's what this feels like when you read it. It's like, we actually don't give a shit about you. We care about the people up top, and we want to make sure that we got our golden parachutes, that we're good to jump out of this plane right now.
The greater good.
And then at the bottom,
a great thing for Ubisoft.
It is. It's amazing for Ubisoft. And at the very bottom, this is what I want to highlight. The last paragraph says, "Of course, this brings some uncertainty and questions. Right now, we may not have all the detailed answers, but we are committed to communicating with you transparently and regularly. Supporting you through this transition is a top priority for your local and your global leadership."
That's what the HR department probably tells their employees when they decide they want to cut their cocks off. We're supporting this transition. We'll even pay for it.
Wait, I didn't ask for my cock to get cut off. No. We're here to support it.
That's cool.
We're transitioning the company away from you.
Ubisoft going to end up like the 42% of trans people?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. You're joking. That's what's about to happen pretty soon, man.
So these people are about to all be
before you continue.
Mhm.
You notice how they didn't include Splinter Cell in the games that they were talking about for going to that new company?
I did notice that, yes. I did.
Are these guys morons or something?
ABS,
Yes.
So you were talking about this last night, actually. You got some ideas about the Splinter Cell versus Rainbow Siege stuff, right? Because you were talking about it last night.
It might be that since it's
Rainbow
Tom
Six
Clancy,
and Far Cry.
it has strings attached to it, and maybe they couldn't actually push it over.
You beat me to it.
Oh,
That's
because
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Is it tied to Tom Clancy?
It is.
Yeah.
But
It is.
so is it Rainbow Six. So
Right.
So
So,
that
what he's
okay,
saying is
yeah,
that the different subsections of like the
Yeah,
different
yeah,
cities in the
yeah.
Tom Clancy universe might have like different rights issues as opposed to it all just being Tom Clancy rights.
right.
I
Right.
would imagine that.
Talk about being what Tom Clancy passed away, right? So his
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
so
some-
being his heir to this throne of just free money forever with everything connected to it is pretty incredible. So Rainbow Six is a part of it, but yeah, for whatever reason, Splinter Cell is not, alongside a slew of other properties. Like, I don't see
Rabbits,
There's no Rabbids,
Rayman,
there's no
Prince of
Rayman,
Persia.
Prince of
no
Persia,
Just
yeah.
Dance.
Just Dance.
Just Dance. By the way, Just Dance is
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs, but
Watch
Just Dance
Dogs.
is probably like that's like their Wii Bowling. Like it's like it prints money every year. So that's
Yeah.
wild that it's done.
Just Dance is the Gran Turismo of Ubisoft.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's true.
What a comparison.
Well, it's like I lose faith in humanity every year that I see a new Just Dance, and it's like on the top sellers list every time it comes out. I'm like, who are these
Yo,
people?
Alex Van Way in the comics makes a great point. IPs with the name Tom Clancy being owned by commies is wild.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's
didn't even think
crazy.
of
I never
that.
thought about that.
That's
Jack
crazy.
Ryan's under Amazon is yeah, it's insane.
That
Damn.
is nuts.
Quick question.
What?
What are the chances that the other IPs that were not transferred to the new subsidiary get sold off to finalize the debt that Ubisoft owes to put them in a better
I'm
position?
glad you brought that up, Hypno, because that's what I was gonna say when we were in just a bit. I guarantee you got just fucking Xbox and PlayStation shopping to the bit to buy, rad.
Because keep in mind,
Why
keep
would
in mind,
you
keep in
do
mind.
that? Why would you do that? Why
Well,
would you
because
give
I
them
don't think
all to this?
Ubisoft wants to be a video game developer anymore, as more than just a publisher, maybe, or something along those lines. Keep in mind, it wasn't just Tencent that was bidding on this. It was Tencent, it was EA, and it was Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft, whatever.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Those three were bidding, which means Tencent at the 1.16 billion was the highest bid out of everybody for these particular franchises to be the 25% stake or whatever.
Of course.
So, but the other franchises are up in the air. Those might be ones that perhaps maybe they're going to sell off completely. Maybe they don't want Just Dance or whatever. Go ahead.
Real quick, you just made a really good point that I didn't even think about, because it's 1.16 billion that was sold off for these three properties. That values these three properties at over $4 billion.
Wait, what? Say that one more time.
So,
How
so
so?
they sold it off for 1.16 billion for a 25% stake in three properties. So 25% times 4 to get the 100% is 4 times the 1.16 billion, meaning they're
but
valuing this at
the new
almost
subsidiary is
4.5
valued at
billion.
that. Yeah. Yeah, it's valued at 4 billion essentially
That's
for the
insane,
three
because I thought
for the three
Assassin's Creed,
franchises.
I thought Assassin's Creed was valued at like around $1 billion, and I would think the other ones would be less than that. So that's crazy valuation.
It's actually kind of wild. Those three franchises are valued together more than Ubisoft, the company that used to own them exclusively, which is
think about that. Think about that.
which goes
not
to
only
show
that,
actually
but-
when you really think about it, how much Ubisoft was fucking up, right? Because if you have three IPs that are worth that much to the eyes of other beholders, and you are fucking up so bad that you have to sell them only for them to be valued more than your own company because you just been trash over the last like 2, 3, 4 years or so. That's actually kind of insane when you really put it together.
Yeah.
Because it also means that Ubisoft without those three, I mean, we already knew that, but Ubisoft without those three franchises, it's fucking worthless. Even though I love Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, don't get me wrong, they haven't done anything with it in years.
Yeah.
So, and Just Dance, yeah, sure, it sells every year, but it's one of those games that sells, around Christmas time at a discount because kids, moms and dads buy them for their kids or whatever. It's not, it might sell a lot of copies, but is it hitting hard on each copy? Probably not. Right, so it just depends,
What about all those constant resales of Zombie U on the Wii U, Hypnotic?
Right.
Isn't that raking in the
fuck
cash?
Fuck off.
I'm
But
sure.
in all seriousness, one of the properties out of Ubisoft that I'm more curious about than anything is Beyond Good and Evil 2. And
That's never coming out.
Well, it's
That's
never coming
fucking
out.
shovelware, bro.
I get it, but it's been in development for what, over 10 years or close to 10 years?
Over to that. It's been longer than that. It's been like what, 13?
And they
14
just
years,
announced
I think.
last
14
year
years.
that they got like a new director to get working on it again. So it's not completely canceled, and it's still somewhere in limbo. And I wonder if that would turn into what like WB did with their game, Harry Potter,
Woman?
the Wonder Woman,
I know.
sorry, yeah, and Harry Potter DLC
It's
to get a tax break maybe. So maybe
I'll tell you this, Smash. I'll tell you this before I gotta go. This is absolutely gonna come out. The reason why I think Beyond Good and Evil is gonna come out is because Skull and Bones came out. And Skull and Bones was the exact same scenario as Beyond Good and Evil. It was in development for about 11 years or so. Development hell, lost directors, gained directors, changed, what it was supposed to be. It's gonna be the same thing. Ubisoft, one thing I will say is that they don't like to give up on stuff in the sense of not releasing it. They might give up on it later after it's released and it fails and it dies. But they're absolutely going to put this shit out there. And what it makes is what it makes. But by the time Beyond Good and Evil 2 comes out, bro, who's gonna care? Like seriously, who's
There's
gonna
some people that don't
Yeah.
even know about it at all.
I predict Beyond Good and Evil 2 will be Ubisoft's The Last Guardian. Remember, Sony had that game in development hell forever, and then it came out, and it was interesting,
All right.
but it died immediately. Nobody
Yep.
cared.
Pretty much immediately.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they're gonna probably follow through, you know, and whatever they decide to do after that, they decide to do whatever. But I think at this point they've separated. They basically they saw the infection in their arm, right?
Mhm.
And they said to themselves, "Cut off the arm.
Yep.
Cut off the arm
Yep.
quickly before we all die." And that's basically what it was, right? The main body of the host was Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, right? And those three franchises, they saw the AIDS crawling up their arm, and they're like, "Cut that shit off."
Hold on. I think this is a perfect depiction of the woke mind virus starting to infect the entire company. They're like, we need to cut it off.
Yeah, they're like,
Can't
"Cut
make
it
the
off
anime
now.
reference I want to.
Cut it off now," and they'll figure it out from there. So that basically they made those three franchises become reborn with no debt, which is ironic because those three franchises are what caused a lot of the debt to begin with. But besides the point, they reborn those franchises with no debt. So now they're going to be free to get potential investors, potential financing, potential whatever. They're going to look a lot better on the books when they can say, "Hey, look, we got games that have sold millions of copies with no debt attached to them. Who wants to finance the next game? Who wants to invest in us?" You know,
I will say yes, that sounds great, but it's not in a vacuum. Like when people invest, they see the history of how they got to the point they are, and they'd be like, how do we know you're not going to do the same damn thing again 10 years from now?
No, of course. Again, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying they have put themselves in the better position to try to lie for further, you know, to keep their the fucking Guillemot family, whatever they're called, Guillemot.
I don't even know.
They
Guillermo.
whatever, Mr. Mont. He all they want to do is maintain control of Ubisoft. That's really all they care about. This is their company, it's their baby, and they cared more about maintaining control than they did about what's better for their employees or what's better for the company as a whole. So this deal only benefits two groups of people. It's them,
And
not
Tencent.
Ubisoft. It's them,
And
the
Tencent.
family, and Tencent.
Yep.
They're the only two that benefit from this. Everybody else,
Ubisoft's
who
getting fucked.
gives a fuck? There's going to be a massacre at Ubisoft. I'm telling you, there's going to be an insane, and all the shills out there that are like trying to say Assassin's Creed is amazing because, you know, it's better for them to say it's going good without having to admit, you know, what's actually about to happen. But they all know what's happening, man. Otherwise, these employees wouldn't be panicking.
Yep. And they have not just in Canada, but they are worldwide, and nearly
Worldwide, yep.
19,000 plus employees.
Almost 20,000 employees, bro.
And it is
Fucking
highly
ridiculous.
likely, based off of just what I'm seeing and rumors out there, by the way, that it is potentially going to be over not just 10,000, but over 10,000 people cut from the company.
Well, think about it.
Potentially more.
Fucking
What
good.
fucking AAA company do you know has 20,000 employees?
No one. Literally no one.
Does
Maybe
Microsoft even have
if you
it-
count everything that they have, maybe.
in
For
their
Xbox?
game sector?
Yeah,
I don't
like if you
think it's
combine
that
them all
many.
together, maybe.
I don't think
Nintendo
it's that
doesn't
many
even
for
have that.
Xbox.
Ubisoft is
Nintendo
so
only has like
fucking
8,000 or
bloated.
something. Not-
Exactly. Nintendo doesn't even have that.
Yeah.
To be fair, you know, Ubisoft has been letting go of studios before this happened. Obviously, they let go of some of their smaller studios, but this is going to be huge. And again, people can pretend like it's not going to happen, but it will.
Comparison. I just googled it to use Bethesda's comparison. Just Bethesda, not everything else in Microsoft. Well, not 1,200 employees. 1,257
Wow.
to be
And
exact.
1,200 is a lot, dude.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a lot.
1,257.
That's
it's
not a small
almost
company.
like it's almost like Ubisoft was like growing bigger and bigger based off of government incentives and financial incentives to keep hiring people on without really having a direction of what they were even doing.
Ubisoft were like a balloon. It was going to pop eventually, and the Tencent rescue leads to my mind that Ubisoft is dead. Long live eventually Tencent's Ubisoft, because I think Tencent,
Ubisoft.
for all their faults, and likewise with the Chinese as a whole, they may be brutal, but they get the job done, and they'll put things in the right direction. I think once they get creative control, you know, the Long March and that sort of thing. It was 10%, now it's 25%. How long? Maybe 5 to 10 years time, it'll be 50% plus, and it will really be Tencent's Ubisoft.
Well, I don't know. if
Activision Blizzard, by the way, 13,000.
What-
Jesus.
Wow.
The
Crazy,
thing that
yeah.
keeps repeating itself is the more you do not, and this is, I guess, the highlight of the whole discussion. The more you choose to not give gamers what they want, the more gamers continue to not get what they want. Like that's what seems to happen every fucking time. You start on this, well, you gamers don't know what the fuck you want. We're gonna tell you what you want, and when that fails, they keep trying again. They don't refuse. They refuse to cave, or they have these little slick ways of trying to make it seem as though they're giving gamers what they want, like with, for example, Assassin's Creed Mirage. But that really wasn't giving gamers what they wanted, because that game was missing mechanics that OG Assassin's Creed games had back in the day. So this is continuing to spiral in the way that it always does. A company that chooses not to give gamers what they want continues to falter, to fail, and having to make decisions that ultimately still won't give gamers what they want. So
It's like Director-X flashbacks, seeing that setup.
Real quick,
There we go.
take a guess without Googling it. How many employees Insomniac has?
Please say like 700 or something.
Yeah,
I was gonna say around
500,
700. Yeah.
Lower.
that's like
603.
200.
400.
In between 400 and 500. Yeah, they have 497.
Wow.
Okay.
That's 500, bro. It's like 3. It's not in between.
Adjusted for inflation, that's 500. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Plus
just
tax.
rounded
No,
up.
497 plus
Point
tax.
is,
500.
whoever said 600 or whatever, like it's lower than 6, lower than 7. Like I was shocked. I thought that Insomniac of all people would have the same level, not the same level, but like we'd see
Yeah.
bloat and whatnot as well. Like we did.
They got a
Ubisoft.
couple
It was
he
small.
she's, so that goes
But
up to like 550.
Let's not forget about that whole Insomniac interview about Spider-Man 2, where they said they were going to give players a little bit of what they didn't think they wanted, and then that's what ended up in the result of Tombstone cosplaying Mary Jane.
Oh.
Just saying,
actually,
Insomniac's not clean either.
Yeah, that's what happens when you
None of
start
these
getting
companies are.
side missions, spray painting with a ugly ass deaf bitch with a big nose.
Yeah, because up
Yeah.
until Spider-Man 2, like I would fight for Insomniac.
Yeah,
Man,
Spider-Man
I was
2018
watching a
was great.
retrospective on Ratchet and Clank earlier, and it's just like, where is this? Like, where is the? Oh, it hurts.
OG
Well,
Ratchet and Clank was
I
the
think
shit.
at this point, they tried to hold on to the bloat as long as possible, Ubisoft. But that shit's gonna come for them eventually. And it's mainly because they have multiple studios all over the world. Probably the reason why they have so many damn employees. Because most of these other studios you mentioned have like one headquarters and maybe one sub studio somewhere. But for the most part, they're fairly all in house, one house. Ubisoft's got like I lost count how many studios they have. It's insane. And it's funny because they have studios in almost every major liberal area in the world, it seems like. If you've noticed that. So
in Toronto and
they got
Paris,
Montreal,
and
Canada. Got Montreal, Canada. They got California, I believe. They have France, obviously, which we all know that. I mean, they want their fucking statue back. Who else? Do they have one in Australia?
Sofia, which is in Bulgaria, which is not a left-wing country. But
Do they have one in Australia? I think.
They might. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So we'll see. But obviously, their main headquarters in France. So
They're fucking so many people over. It's not even funny, man. Like
It's
they've
gonna
like
be. It's gonna be
destroyed this company.
It's gonna be wild. Like the stories that come out of this are going to be glorious for content creators.
did you guys go over the panic, like from the employees, like what they were saying?
Yep.
No, we did not.
I got a.
Oh.
Did we
yeah,
not?
never mind.
Ubisoft Singapore, that explains Skull and Bones, because the Singapore government put hundreds of millions of dollars into that project, and it was one of the reasons why Skull and Bones actually got released, because it
there's
was
the
a
key word.
government-financed project. Well, Singapore is actually a well-run country, so
Mhm.
that was
Well, I just meant
really
like
surprised
government's
me.
the key word there, Ryan, because like this year, before you guys get into this year,
Mhm.
we have seen, bro. I was keeping count and then I fucked up and I stopped keeping count. But the amount of studios that have either laid off or fired or closed down, and it's only been 3 months, is disgusting. I mean, it's almost to the point now where by the end of April, we'll probably have more studio closures this year than we did last year. Probably.
which is
You know,
crazy.
maybe
because-
not more layoffs, but definitely more like closures in general, which is fucking nuts, bro. And it's because there is no, at least not in the United States, but maybe elsewhere. I know France is still giving out money. Canada's still giving out money, obviously, which is why all the consultancy firms are up there. But
Norway's still giving out money.
yeah, but like in terms of the United States, Western money, like it's not, that shit has been cut, and now they just can't get financing. You know, I did a video on the Mist developers, which I didn't even know was still a thing.
Yeah.
Scion Worlds, you know, they've been around forever. Magically, the year where the government money goes away and they can't be subsidized by that anymore, suddenly they're gone now or firing people.
And that should
It's just
infuriate.
amazing.
That should infuriate everyone to know that these companies have been surviving not off of quality game experiences, but
Mhm.
because just sucking off the teat of the government of just free money to keep them in
Right.
business.
Well, I
For
mean,
years.
even that Dustborn sequel, or not a sequel, but you know that
The follow-up.
what is it
whatever the
called?
next
Hello
game is.
Sunshine or some
Hello
shit like that.
Sunshine. Yep.
Well, it is separate project made by the same people, I think.
Right, but they didn't make any fucking money from Dustborn.
No,
Nope.
They just got paid by the government. They used that money to make their game, and now they got paid by the government again, and they're going to
To
use
make
that money to
another
make
game.
another game.
And how
But
do you
their
get
customers are not us. Their customers are
the
you
government?
know the government.
How do you get funding for a follow-up game after you've proven to be a failure? Is beyond me. Unless there's shenanigans
Because it wasn't a failure, Smash. Not for them. See, we're thinking a failure from a
Capitalistic-
sales capitalistic
Capitalistic
standpoint. It's not a failure for them. For them, it was a massive success because the word got out there, it went viral, it got
Yeah.
into a lot of people's minds, and even if it influenced one or two people to
was
ensure
worth it.
they either switch to communism or stay communist, it's one of the two.
Yeah.
But-
it's a war of attrition because we are dealing with forces that can never run out of money.
Mhm.
Ultimately,
Or when
Then
it's the
it's not a
government, they
war
can
of
keep printing
attrition
it.
if
So
they can never run
Yeah.
out of money.
Government
Well, for
creates
us it is.
nothing. It only takes. That is effects of government.
yep.
Thomas Sowell, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about this now.
Yeah,
with
I was gonna
the-
say,
with
but
the
anyway,
employees. Go ahead.
So this came from a random Facebook group that was called the Sweet Baby Inc. And Journos Detection Agency Volume 2. And somebody shared this with me via DM. I'm not sure if that happened to you as well, Hypnotic, or other people, but I checked it out and I'm like, okay, it's interesting enough to talk about. Whether it is fake or not doesn't really change the fact that this could theoretically be exactly what's happening there right now. And if it is the case, it is wild. This is posted. They said Ubisoft fucks with their employees big time. Since 2015, most of them took their bonuses and invested their own money in Ubisoft shares. That's hundreds of millions in shares. Now, with the creation of this new entity, moving the most profitable IPs under it and opening the path for the old entity bankruptcy, their money are worth nothing. Most of them are bought at $30 per share. Sorry for the anonymous post. I'm under NDA. And then
Get
he
hit,
followed.
get hit with a rug pull.
Yep. And he followed up with one more, said, I'll add some clarification. Instead of bonuses, game devs have annual bonuses, launch bonuses, and a % from sales each quarter. The amount usually adds up to a half yearly salary, which, damn. Devs were offered stock shares at better prices. And that's, by the way, a felony considering it's an open traded company. That's not. That happens all the time. Like when I worked at Qualcomm, they offered stock shares at a lower price. Most of it, not all, took it. Most bought additional shares with their life savings or took loans. Don't ever do that, guys. There were holding it the past few years, and the stock plummeted, waiting to improve. The best case scenario, they have their investment halved, current state of things. At worst, UB bankruptcy, their shares drop to pennies. While Ubisoft is lowering up, I think they mean lawyering up, to keep their devs safe from harassment, they are screwing them big time to a point where the lawyers are actually prepared to keep the company safe from an employee lawsuit. So, I mean, again, believe this or not, even if it's fake, it still could be exactly what transpires.
Well, a lot of jobs that you apply for, they'll tell you you get this much salary and you'll get bonuses or stock assigned to you, and that's factored into how much you make every single year. And I guarantee you, a lot of these employees were counting on the stock not being 1/3 of what it was.
Or less.
What is it, like $12.50 or something like that right now?
Yeah. So, and they
Well,
might
they
have
said
got
they were buying up at 30
at
a
30
share.
or more. Yeah.
That's
insane.
crazy. So now it's like it's €12, whatever. It's fucking
Disgusting.
bro.
And honestly, I know it sounds crazy to say this, but if I were them, I would be bailing right now. I'd be like,
Well,
yep.
Well, in
Because the
terms of
only savior,
Ubisoft,
well, real quick, Ryan, the only
on.
savior was
Mhm.
Tencent. And
Mhm.
Tencent didn't save it, and we know that now. So it's like, who's going to save Ubisoft without
Well,
the IPs anymore?
well, yeah,
Transgendered.
Tencent didn't save the company. It just saved the profitable parts of the company for
No,
its
but I'm
own
saying the only
ends.
potential savior was Tencent, and they
But
didn't.
Ubisoft's stock price 4 years back peaked at around 92 euros, which was about $100 at the time, and now it's at what, $12 4 years later. So that's
Mhm.
down by a factor of 8 over a 4-year period. Yes, you're completely fucked. Simple.
But anyone else have any thoughts on the employees and the situation?
Rip.
Kata or Sheep? Haven't heard from you
That's
guys.
That's all I had to say was rip.
Rip.
I'm trying to because there's obviously there's like employees and shit that reach out to other people. I am trying so hard to get them to just say what the fuck is going on, because this is not something like, if you're an employee of Ubisoft, this isn't something you should just sit by and let happen, because
Mhm.
you're the one that's getting fucked over, not
But
them.
real quick,
They still got the
they've been
bonuses and stuff.
pre-programmed to hate YouTubers
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
internal indoctrination, so they
I'm
don't
sure.
want to just all of a sudden trust YouTubers that have
I'm
been
sure.
telling them your company's going to fuck you over.
But they need to get that shit out, man, because they're the ones getting fucked, not the people at the top. They're just gonna walk away. Oh, failed company. They got their bonuses, they got their money. It's the employees with the families and shit that are gonna be messed up.
It
You know
takes
what I
a
mean?
special it takes a special level of evil to do what the Geebots did. It takes
Yeah.
a very special level. It was
Fucking French,
Just
Chinese
ruthless.
alliance, just full of red. Red everywhere, man.
The Chinese-French connection.
Yeah.
Oh
Into the
my
fucking
God, no.
CCP.
Because the French are like the most left wing in Europe, and of course, Red China is about as left wing as you can get outside of North Korea. So yeah, it's fuck you people, means to an end for the greater good. Doesn't matter how many of you lose your jobs, lose your livelihoods. We're doing it for the betterment
Hey.
of the assets.
Return to form. Return to form. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's sad, too,
they're
because
UB
this has
flaccid
been-
now. They're fucked.
This has been planned for a while.
Yeah.
Like this must have been at least a year minimum
Oh yeah.
where this has been
at least,
happening.
yeah.
And now, because you're gonna have some people try to spin the narrative that, oh, this is happening because of Shadows. It's not. It's not. All Shadows did was solidify the deal at
Yeah.
either a 1%, 2% higher or lower metric, and that's it. They already had a deal set up, and once Shadows released and the real numbers came in, which Tencent has obviously the real numbers and they know what's the deal. They finalized it, and that was it.
You know what's funny is this is a classic situation of the people down below fighting against each other
Mhm.
while the people up high are laughing all the way to the bank right now.
That's how it is in life, bro.
No, but I'm saying like this
All
is
the
the
time.
like this is the perfect depiction of exactly that right now, where like the Assassin's Creed account is like cheering that they ratioed Grums. I'm like, my guy,
And Elon.
your
yeah.
company is fucking you right now.
They're going for the small wins because they need any win. That's
Yep.
really what it is. So go for the small wins and then take that small wins and put it on the biggest projector you possibly can, and then let everything else burn around you. But it's fine because the big win or the small win looks big on the projector.
That's true.
That's
really all it
crazy,
is.
dude.
Good way to put it.
So, but don't get it twisted. That was a great clapback though.
Oh yeah, they cooked the
Fucking
fuck out of
hilarious.
it.
Yeah,
They
twice.
They took Elon and Grums, bro.
Yeah.
Cooked the
I-
fuck out of it.
I've never
Grums
seen
was
somebody.
Asian fried rice real quick. It was
Mm.
Bro,
crazy.
that was this is gonna be a Dragon Ball reference, but that was just Caulifla and Goku right there. That shit was funny as hell.
She sit there. Hey, they Grumps it up the Kamehameha. They just came back right in the face. Like, yeah, take it, take that shit. Golly, I said,
That shit
hey,
was great.
lay off everybody else. Don't lay off that dude. Whoever's in charge of that, keep them. They're pretty funny.
Matter of fact, give
Yeah.
them the company. Fuck it.
But again, even
Fire
though
the
that
person
was
that-
funny and it was a great clapback, like, what are you really doing at the end
What-
of the day, right?
yeah,
There
what
was a
did you-
meme that was floating around. I don't know if you have it or anybody has it, where it was like, the guy was like, "Oh, sir,
That's
we
from
ratioed."
Tebow puts that one out there. I'll get it.
Yeah, it's like we ratioed Elon, and then the guy's like, "That's great. How does it affect our sales?" And the guy's like, "Sales?
Sales.
Mm.
What do you mean sales?"
Yeah, that's the Stone Toss comment.
Mhm.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious, bro. I was like, yes, that's exactly what it is. Because for these people, it's about the engagement. It's about the We just ratioed Elon X. How would this help us sell our game? Sell our game. That's fucking great. I love
I would
it.
almost argue that this is better than what their clapback was.
It is better. But listen, all of it's funny, right? All of it's funny. The clapback is funny. This is funny to the clapback. It's all funny. But at the end of the day, what's not funny is you having to now have to, sell your 25% sold to the Chinese.
Right. That's like, we're not the ones losing our jobs right now. Assassin's Creed. It's literally you guys that will be out of a job.
Right.
We're the ones trying to tell you why you're out of a job, and you're getting mad at us.
They told us we got to get comfortable not owning our games, and they got to get comfortable not owning their company. It's fucking crazy.
Or owning their jobs,
Crazy.
having their job. But it's a simple clash. It's a simple clash between money versus ideology. The ideology that drives this doesn't give a damn about making a buck. It's just means to an end, push an agenda. It's like, what are you guys doing? You're losing money hand over fist. They don't care. It's all about
They're going to give a
spreading
damn
the
when they're out of a
ideas.
job.
Right.
And they're just
they
a
always
casualty.
do.
Just a cat. That's why the bodies stack high under these regimes. They're just a casualty for the greater good.
That's why I wish I could talk to some of these developers, the lower level developers that are like activists on Twitter and whatnot. And I'm looking at them. I was like, I hope you realize that, yeah, you may think your company loves you. You may think your company is all for your message, right? All for your social cause. They totally stand behind you, whatever that may be. But realize that at some point, you will become like the expendable, what do you call it? The expendable piece. You will be removed, and you're going to be jobless while they are still going to be rich. Those executives walking around in suits telling you, "Great job, Martha. You really are getting them." Yes. Just realize that you're going to be unemployed, and these motherfuckers will still be rich. They will still still have millions of dollars.
They're richer now.
Yeah, they're richer. Exactly. The Guillemot family, they came out crazy on this. Everybody else in Ubisoft, not so much. But they came out good.
It was basically the manifestation of squeezing income out of their own employees and then leaving them with nothing. It's impressive. It's impressive.
They were like, great job on your activism. See you on the unemployment line.
Say, yeah, all the DEI hires and all the virtue signaling y'all did, congratulations. You're out on the street.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because what are you guys' thoughts on China itself injecting DEI on this conspiracy theory in order to get companies at a cheaper price? Do you feel there's any validity to that?
No, I have no doubt about that, given the history of communist nations, trying to inject infiltrators throughout Western countries. No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, again, it's not about the companies at a cheaper price. It is because knowledge and information, all that is power. And if they poison our society by accepting woke ideologies, they will be a bigger powerhouse. The financial thing is just a bonus.
Yeah.
TikTok is a good example of that. They highly curate their TikTok in China. But then, basically, we get all the slop content full of retards talking about their 5,000 genders that they feel every fucking day. So
Cold War never ended, folks. Never ended. We just
think about
exchanged adversaries. Yeah.
Think about practice what you preach, right? So if the Chinese are out here, with DEI mandates with whatever companies they invest in, and you go to China and you don't see that shit anywhere, I think that's pretty safe to say that they're not practicing what they preach, and there's another method or another reason for why they are preaching whatever they're preaching.
That's a really good point.
Well, they are very racist
you go to China,
people.
You're not going to see that shit for the most part. You go to China, you're going to see no binary. Like, no, there ain't no binary in China. Like, you are either binary or you dead. One of the two.
No, not binary.
I'm thinking they got the idea from the ESG loans, pushing that, and they saw the actual trend and ran with it.
You might be right. They might have looked at some of the mandates that come with some of the ESG loans, and they were like, look at this, stupid. Yeah, we could do this too. And then they do it.
You look at Tencent's website, one of the first things you see is ESG. Clear, concise. They're not afraid to admit it, because doing business in China, they follow a certain set of rules. They break those rules, their company gets broken up. In terms of the West, it's very simple. Make money, undermine the opposition. They're communists at the end of the day. They are the Soviet Union's successor. The Cold War never ended.
Another great example would be TikTok. Look at the homepage of TikTok in the US, and then look at the homepage of TikTok in China.
Technically, TikTok doesn't exist in China. They have their own name.
Well, you know what I mean. Like you think that shit is going to be fucking talking about 5-10 different genders,
No.
and talking about LGBTQ, all that nonsense? Of course not, bro. They teaching you math and shit.
Well, what you've learned is it's not about money. Ironically, I mean, for everyone else, all of us,
It's
and
about the message.
right? But everyone watching us right now. I mean, not to sound like Alex Jones, but here I am.
Mhm.
Everyone on the panel, everyone watching us, we are living our lives. Be like, okay, I need to make rent. I need to make my mortgage. I need to make sure I can afford the school supplies for my kids or bring them to college. These are people on a different level where it's just like they're living in these gigantic $100 million mansions. Like it's not. They don't care about money. Money has nothing to do with anything with them. It's about the message.
The
because it
executives
gives them-
are
What's
they're
that?
running on generational wealth, and they're not hungry
Yep.
for anything successful out of the company.
Yep.
And keep in
100%.
mind, Ryan, there is another version of TikTok in China.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Really? See, I didn't even know that.
yeah, it's called Douyin.
Hmm.
Douyin.
Do you know?
Yeah, different name, same infrastructure, but a different name. It just
Same
goes
company,
to
it's from
show.
ByteDance.
I mean, could you imagine if the United States had a social media platform where it was a certain way in America and completely fucking different all over the world, and there'd be an outcry, but not for the People's Republic of China, because if you fuck with them, they will fuck with you, and they're not afraid to get bloody with it. To
Right.
use a horrible euphemism there.
It's true. It's true. Well, before we move on to the next one, does anyone have any final thoughts on this
Fuck them.
situation?
You
with
deserve what
Ubisoft?
you get. You deserve
I
what
hate
you get.
corpos.
I just wish the shills would come out and stop hiding, because they kind of all ran away once the announcement of the sale happened. Because Twitter was active, like on fire, nonstop every day about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the moment the announcement of the sale happened, bro, it's just like died.
I had larger channels. I'm not going to start naming names, but I had larger channels putting me on blast saying, "Take the L smash. You were wrong." And I'm like, my guy, did you just look at a picture from Assassin's Creed saying 3 million and say, I need to take an L right now without like, talk about living in a vacuum. Like, sure, I guess if you look at that screenshot, it sounds like everything's great.
Those are the same people that will comment on a YouTube video from the title and thumbnail and never watch it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Or the same people that will watch it and still confuse the player count with the sales count.
Yeah, no,
Well,
they'll never go past the initial phase of like, oh, this is what you're saying. Okay, great. I'm not questioning that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
So what you
fucking
do-
repeat it.
What you do is you take the L and you preserve it to hand it back to them when they
Yep.
get, egg on their face.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
all
even
all
need
I've been
to.
doing is I just been going,
I didn't even
okay.
need to because I just responded back to him being like, man, like I said something generic like, no, this is not what's happening. Like, I'm not going to take the L on this. And I ratioed, it's a bigger channel. I ratioed the fuck out of him after like all this stuff came through because I'm like, yeah, just wait. You guys saw 1 foot drop. Wait for the other foot to drop to actually explain what's happening. So
I think I'm actually ratioing PC Gamer right now.
dude,
Everybody is.
didn't you ratio Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed the other day?
I
too?
did. Ubisoft UK. I ratio the shit out of them.
Damn,
Crazy.
that's impressive.
Not the
If
only
we-
one Assassin's Creed.
If we start seeing layoffs, are we gonna see the goalpost move to, well, actually, that's a good thing?
Yes,
They're already
yes,
doing
yes,
that with the
you
new company.
You're gonna hit it with the Admiral Thrawn line.
They're all trying to say this is a great thing for Ubisoft, that there's no negative for Ubisoft in this, and that Tencent was stupid for doing this deal. I'm like, you really think, you internet fucking warriors really think that you're smarter than all the lawyers and fucking analytical minds over there at Tencent? Are you serious right now? You think they did this deal and there wasn't any benefit for them whatsoever?
Yes.
Really? Bro, Tencent knows exactly what they're fucking doing.
Tencent
China.
is literally a united country against the world. Like Tencent
Seriously.
is not just a company.
Again, I'm not trying to cheer on the Chinese company, but all I'm saying is like, don't think they're stupid. That's the
Right.
one thing you should not do. Don't think they're
Well,
stupid.
Europe is arguably at its weakest because they are just completely dominated by these fucking ideologies.
Mhm.
And this is why they will fall first to China before anybody else.
Yep. They
I would
already
agree with
are right now. You see the police
Yeah.
showed up at doors for hate speech on Facebook and stuff. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, going to war with ninjas is terrifying.
Ninjas
Ninja.
specifically.
Right.